Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well this day, this weekend. Stay on your plan, stay on the conquest that you have, and continue building yourself up to be the best person you become. Once again, I'll put all the 9 or 10 different shout outs on the descriptions. Hope you guys are liking that. Let me know. I did want to make one comment, Eduardo. I will go ahead and do one on Kundalini. Another one. I think it's always good. We have a lot of newer viewers, so a lot of these other comments, like the Fountain of Youth book, I'll probably redo episodes with. There's Kundalini is another one. Prostate is another one that Rohit mentioned a couple times, so I don't want to ignore that one. We'll do that one soon as well. I think the main thing I wanted to kind of say with that basically is that there are lots of exercises, and there's a lot of conflicting information about the prostate and how it affects you. And I think that's a decision you have to kind of make. For many years, my decision was I was going to go ahead and release and try to help it that way. But I don't think that's necessarily the answer. And I think there's a lot of other ways you can kind of help your prostate, and certainly exercising and dieting and certain foods will help it as well. And I think staying in shape, the best shape you can become, and using all the nutrients, energy, to me, in my mind, would help that. Though I do know there's a lot of information out there that tries to contradict that. So that's going to be your decision, Rohit, but I will do another video on that at some point, so I appreciate that. All right, so our discussion today is from Ashraf, and Ashraf, a shout out to you, my friend. And the question is, why do I not experience benefits? And there's a number of different reasons why this happens. Now, the benefits we're talking about, certainly when it comes to doing semen retention, is things like attraction, which a lot of people comment to, that they're getting tremendous responses back from females in their attraction, and that's wonderful. Good for you guys. Once again, that's a good and bad thing, right? It depends on the decision you're making and what you're really trying to accomplish with things, and hopefully you find that right person, and you can kind of have that person kind of help you with your goals and moving forward to the things that you want to create. I think the next thing too to look at is certainly trying to be the best person you become. And so sometimes what ends up happening is that, especially if you've been doing this for a long time, you get into a habit, and its habits are hard to break. The mental approach is hard to break. The first thing you have to look at is, do you believe in these benefits? Now, some people have called this kind of a placebo, and we've kind of had a video on that as well a little bit. But I think that if you have a strong belief that the benefits are coming, you'll be able to see those a little bit easier than if you don't believe. It's hard to convince yourself. They call it cognitive dissonance. It's hard to believe it yourself, especially even after you see it, if in your mind you're not ready to accept that as an idea. So I think the thing you have to first think about is, are you really ready to accept this idea that semen retention is going to work? And like you said, from other people, Rohit and other people talking about that, doctors have talked about that, you need to ejaculate, you need to release and all that kind of stuff. And is that something that you really want to do? And that's something you have to kind of go back and look and seeing, is this accurate for me? And I think that's one of the biggest questions you have to kind of ask yourself as you go through this process. Now, other things that could affect this, certainly I think that, I would, especially if you've been doing this for a while and it's hard to stop this, I would go monk mode. And what I mean by monk mode is you have no lust in your heart, you're not lusting, you're not thinking about women, and maybe you need to do more of that. Maybe that's why the benefits are not as strong as they should be right now, because you're not creating that sort of attitude within yourself saying, I'm going to stop at all cost. The other issue, obviously, is transmutation. And this I saw in this book originally from Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. What you really want to do is make sure you're transmuting that energy upwards. So a lot of things you can do. I do a breathing method. I put one finger in my nose, and whenever I get in the arousal type of thing, and then you move it over to the other nose. and breathe out. And I do that to try to make sure I move that energy in different directions. You can think of yourself moving it upwards. Take a deep breath upward and do that as well. The sixth exercise in Kelder's book of Fountain of Youth actually does this, where it's moving the stuff back from the one vertex, the one chakra, up to the other. And we talk about the chakras, the vertexes, the vortex, those type of things. You're moving things upwards to be able to get away from the place that you're at with it down in region number 2. I call it region 2, but it's chakra number 2, moving it back up to chakra number 7, which is up more towards the top of your head. So everything is in the middle of your body, and so part of that is really focusing on that as the result. So all these benefits are mainly because you're moving these chakras. And as you're moving these chakras, those type of things become stronger and stronger. And so that's why I think doing exercises makes a big difference. So if you're not exercising, definitely exercise. Make sure you're keeping the right diets so you don't have a lot of sugar and carbohydrates. It's hard. I know in my case, carbohydrates and sugars are the killers for me. So I try to stay away from those. My goal is to lose about 20 more pounds as we go through this. So as we'll see what happens over the next few months. But biggest thing for me is in the past, I've gotten a bloating because of the carbohydrates and the sugars, the regular pops, the those type of floury types of things, too much of. So that's another type of thing. Now the other thing too, my friends, is if you're not getting any benefits, when we talk about the fact that you have to have some level of sexual energy. So this is part of the thing, and so because, and we talk about this in kind of a crazy way, because of course everybody has sexual energy. Well, not everybody does at some levels. And so that may be something you need to go to a doctor about. That's something I'm not fully equipped to talk about at all. I think if you have some sexual energy, you certainly can transmute it and use it. So that's another thing that you kind of tend to look at. But I think benefit-wise, you should be getting benefits once you're able to transmute this and be able to see this. And the reason I say that is because you're keeping all your nutrients within you. So you're looking stronger. You're looking like you have an aura around you. You have that sort of attitude, that way about you that just conveys confidence, and people want to be around you, and they're attracted to you. And those things tend to happen. So you're going to see a lot of that, as time goes on. Now, certain things can drain that. For instance, stress. If you're not seeing a lot of benefits, you might have a lot of stress in your life as well. And though this can combat that, you're not going to see a lot of it overwhelming the stress until you're actually into a number of days of doing this and your whole lifestyle changes. Even now, 900 and some days, I'm still dealing with stressful situations and trying to overcome those type of situations through the things that I'm doing. So that's not an easy type of thing to do, but I think it's something that you're going to have to be faced with, because stress is a big part of our life, and you have to kind of deal with this. Now, going through retention, controlling, focusing, all these type of benefits you're going to get from this tend to kind of subdue that anxiety a little bit, so you're not as depressed and anxious and fearful, and that's good. But you also need to go ahead and kind of follow it up by being, exercising, doing those things to get away from some of these type of feelings and emotions. So I think that certainly if you're not experiencing the benefits of this right now, part of it could also be longevity. If you're only on a few days of this, it's going to take a little time, because your body has to react to the change. This is a lifestyle change. Once your body reacts to the change, then you can kind of push that idea out there into the universe, and those people will see that and react to it that way too. But you're going to have to go ahead and kind of make sure you realize in your mind this is a lifestyle type of change, and then it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It may take a few weeks, it may take a few months, and all of a sudden now you're seeing this because now you're comfortable within this. You're not going to be comfortable with the first couple days, because you're always going to think about going back to where I was before. So all right, so Ashraf, thank you once again. A shout out to you, my friend. As I said, I'll put some shout outs also on the bottom of the description. Hope you guys have a great day, and continue to battle on, and we'll talk to you soon. Remember, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. God bless you guys. Have a great day.